Well, hello and welcome to the Super Connector show, where I'm delighted to be joined by Jyoti Kishnani. And in a change to normal proceedings, we're going to turn the tables and I'm going to be interviewed this time instead of me interviewing the guests. So, Jyoti, thank you very much for joining me today and for asking me to do this as well. So, over to you.
Thank you so much, Paul. Happy to be here. And as I've always told you, I'm always curious to know about your journey. I have been attending platform events only for like past like 3 or 4 times, and I found it very interesting. Trust me when I tell you that I have attended a lot of networking events. Given I'm a research student, so I actually go to a lot of networking events, hoping that some startup will agree to participate in my study. And platform is one event, one of the few events where I come back again and again, because every time I attend an event, there's something new. And the last platform conference event that happened in April was amazing. The speakers that were there, the way it was organized, the way it was structured, and the key takeaways. And most of the time when people come, they have an agenda, but I feel people who come to the platform events and the conference, they have networking and learning agenda. I like the feel of the community. And I was so happy and glad that you agreed to be interviewed on your own platform. So thank you a lot for doing this. So for the people who are online or who are listening later, this is more of conversational. It's not an interview. It is a conversation between me and Paul, and about his journey, how it started, what he accomplished, what were the key lessons learned, and lessons for others. So, Paul, tell me, I went through your LinkedIn profile, and I see that you have worked across, different industries like music, marketing, startups, and now building the community. So what were you thinking? Drove what drove you to do this?
Yeah, so I think, well, through all of the things that you've done, like you say, I've worked in marketing, I've worked for corporates, I've worked for third sector organizations, worked with the public sector, and then had my own business for just over 10 years now. But everything I've done, it's all about, it's connection,
Yeah.
basically. It's connection. It's all about connecting people. Even when I think about the music, so I was a semi-professional DJ and producer and club promoter and had my own record label. But the thing for me, I was always really inspired by the DJs who weren't the like superstar DJs where the focus was on them. They were more the behind the scenes DJs who were the focus was on the club, the clubbers, and making sure that they were having a good time and setting the scene, and the music that they played would take people on a journey and stuff like that. So even now, I think that whole ethos of house music and acid house and has continued throughout. I was like really, when I was a teenager, I was just so excited by that in the late 80s, early 90s, and I've sort of tried to carry that spirit into what I'm doing now, I think.
Absolutely. So, when how was platform or this event board? You have been doing this last 10 years, if I understand correctly. I'm sure you wake up one morning and decide that you want to do this, or did it evolve over the period of time?
Yeah, it's evolved over the time. So platform's only been around since January 2024, right? So
Okay.
so I used to do an event called Founders Friday,
Oh,
which used to take place every month in Newcastle. So it was like platform but longer. It would be from 9 till maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, but then platform is more condensed. It's a morning session. It's usually 9 till 12 or 9 till half 12. But the whole point of these events is to um, provide like an informal, relaxed, inclusive networking opportunity for people, aimed at business owners and leaders or entrepreneurs, people who want to know how to start a business or want to know how to grow a business, mostly in the northeast of England. Um, so bringing people together who wouldn't normally get a chance to come together.
mhm.
Um, Business owners, business leaders, funders, investors, service providers who want to learn how to grow a business, but they want to give back as well. I think we do tend to attract people who are generous with their time and generous with their connections, but want to learn as well as to share.
Right.
And I think that's something I'm really happy about, that I've managed to sort of, I think I set the scene. I think my vibe
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
influences.
I see that I myself have attended, a lot of conference events, like a lot of platform events, and I have seen the energy, the new people coming in. So for the person who wants to come and connect and be part of the platform network and show it, how does it work for the person?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the people go to the website, which is
Mm-hmm.
platformevents.ai. On the homepage, it's got all our upcoming events listed on there. So that's probably the easiest way to find the events in one place. But we promote them all through Eventbrite and different
Yeah.
social media channels as well. At the moment, we're doing them every month in Newcastle. It's usually, I mean, it does vary on which day of the which week of the month, but it's always on a Friday. It's always on a Friday morning. The next one's the 22nd of May, and then
Yeah.
we're doing one on the 26th of June. I'm going to take July off. I'm going to take a break and take a holiday, and then we'll be back again every month. So
Okay.
Newcastle every month. We do Sunderland and Middlesbrough once a quarter, and we do Edinburgh as well. But we're looking at doing some different locations like Durham, Northumberland, maybe Leeds, maybe London. We're open to suggestions on different locations, but mostly the north of England, northeast and Teesside, and a little bit of Scotland. But for anyone who's never been before, it's 9 till 12 or 9 till 12:30. The first half an hour is really relaxed, like you say, really relaxed, inclusive networking. Me and others make a point of making sure if people are talking and if anyone's on their own, we'll make an effort to bring them into the conversation and introduce them to good people. First half an hour is networking, then with teas and coffees. Then we have what I call an insights briefing. So it's usually me and maybe one or two other people who talk about what's going on in the region, maybe what other events are happening, other business support initiatives that are going on in the region, what funding is available, what investment opportunities there are. So like wider interest, and also what we're working on as a business, and some things that we think people might be interested in. Then there's a show and tell, so a literal platform for businesses to get up and talk about the products or services that they offer. And they're usually businesses in the first 2 years of trading. Although we do have businesses that are a bit older who maybe have a new product or service to share, but it's usually a good opportunity, and often a first opportunity for someone to get up and talk about what they're doing and get feedback on what they're offering. It's not necessarily a pitch, but it's like, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is what we offer.
Right.
And lots and lots of times people pick up work, pick up clients, form new collaboration, get some advice, sometimes get some funding, sometimes make an investment through that session. Then we have a little break, and then we come back and do a fireside chat where it's usually me interviewing a successful entrepreneur, business leader, talking about how they got started, key milestones, challenges overcome, lessons learned, advice for others, and that's really inspiring hearing from those people. And so really, I think the event has got something for everyone.
Yeah.
No matter what stage they're at in business, and it's sector agnostic. Anyone of any sector can come, and everyone's welcome to come as
Yeah.
well.
I myself have attended the events and I have seen it work. When I initially started for my research, I attended platform events a couple of times, and my network grew. I have met a lot of new people. I have connected with them. I got a job because
Yeah,
of.
awesome. That was amazing. So yeah, so you listened to one of the fireside chats, and you just connected because obviously he's got an office over in India where you're from. Is that right? And then
Absolutely.
now you're working with him. So amazing.
Yeah, that's what I said, that I'm like giving you a worked thing, that it works. The platform is successful. It does connect people, and it does help the community as well.
Yeah,
So
no, thank you. I spoke to someone yesterday who came to the platform conference last week, And she said, "Oh, I just wanted to thank you because I came to the event, and as I was getting a coffee," she said, literally within the first half an hour, I got talking to someone in the coffee queue. He asked what I did. I told him what I did, and we set up a demo of her software, and he's now signed up for the software. It's like amazing. That makes me really happy when I hear stuff like that.
Absolutely. As I said, I also went to a couple of other events, and they are like, "Oh, yesterday only I went to a Northeast Expo, and I went to a booth, and that guy's like, you were at the platform conference where you know, right? You because I was doing the video editing over there." I'm like, "Yeah, right, I was there."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that I feel that community is building. I see same faces, and it feels good. Being part of
yeah,
the community,
yeah.
and I and
It's
I
quite
and I also see that, platform is one, and then you have UK Startup and Scale Up Week. How does that connect?
Yeah, so yeah, you asked that question before, so and I didn't give you a full answer. So basically, 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
just over 10 years ago, I was working for a government organisation called Tech North, which had been
Mm-hmm.
set up to promote the north of England as a great place to start and grow a tech business.
Mm-hmm.
So Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield, Hull, Sunderland, Newcastle. That was like the
Wow.
area. So I was the community engagement and partnerships manager for the whole of the north of England, right? There was
Wow.
me and one other person doing a similar role. And that's like too big an area. Like the whole of the north of England is ridiculous, but it was an amazing role that I had. And prior to that, I'd spent about 15 years working in different jobs where I was helping people start and grow businesses, but paid a salary to do that. Like my job was sharing knowledge, signposting, matchmaking, doing introductions, sometimes distributing funding as well. So I can talk a bit about that if you like. But the Tech North role was all about promoting the whole of the north of England as a great place to start
Yeah.
and grow a tech business.
Yeah.
Trying to encourage more collaboration within cities and between cities and shine a light on all the good stuff going on, right? Great. But what I could see then was that the north, well, Manchester in particular was starting to become like the London of the north.
Okay.
There was a lot of momentum, a lot of money, a lot of it was just heading that direction. So even though we were trying to promote the whole of the north equally, you could see that Manchester was getting a lot more attention. And some of that was because the political leadership locally, the greater Manchester leadership was really getting behind the idea of devolution.
Okay.
And even though it was a Labour-led authority, they were working very closely with a Conservative national government, unlike other
Okay.
northern councils, which tend to be very like combative and always arguing and falling out. But Manchester in particular really could see the benefit in working close, and they've benefited as a result of doing that.
Mhm.
So I left that because the funding ran out. This is
Okay.
the problem with a lot of initiatives, government initiatives. The money runs out, and what you set out to do, you can't do it anymore.
Wow.
So it had been building up inside me for years that I wanted to do my own thing at some point, but I didn't know quite what that was going to be. And I felt like I was adding lots of value in the roles I was doing. But when this money ran out, I had a choice of either taking another role, similar role, but less, it was a bit more London focused, which I didn't want to do, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I could start my own business finally with a focus on the Northeast, which is what I set out to do. So 10 years ago, I was like, right, I'm going to do everything I've done up until now, but independently, not relying on grants and funding.
Got it.
And I'm going to do it focused on the Northeast of England. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to try and promote and support and champion businesses in the Northeast of England. And that's what I've been doing ever since in different
Yeah.
ways. And, some of that has been consultancy, coaching, mentoring, a bit of advisory work. But I came up with the idea of doing I thought what the Northeast really needs or needed, I thought was a big event that was going to grab people's attention and bring everything together in one place, all the best help and advice and support and knowledge in 1 week. And that was going to be called Newcastle Startup Week.
Oh, okay.
So that was the original name. So
Okay.
started my business in 2016.
Right.
Spent about 6 months doing consultancy and advisory and mentoring and whatever, and then came up with the idea of, right, I'm going to do this big event. So I just basically picked a week,
Okay.
which was like 9 months ahead. And I was just like, right, this week I'm going to do a 5-day multi-venue citywide event called Newcastle Startup Week.
Okay.
Put it
Awesome.
out there.
Yeah.
Created a survey. This is what I did. I created a survey to say, do you think this is a good idea? Would you
Mhm.
like to be involved? How would you like to be involved? What do you need? Blah, blah, blah. I got about 200 people filling the survey, and that gave me confidence that there was some sort of appetite for this.
Wow.
And then I could go to some sponsors and say, look, I've got 200 people who want this thing to happen. Can you get involved? And then I just committed to doing this thing, and it was a brave stroke stupid thing to do, and then I was just like, right, I stopped doing any other work. I was just like, right, I'm just going to do this thing. I'm just going to be 100% focused on doing this big event, because it was such a big undertaking to do it.
Yeah.
And it worked. We had just over 600 people came to the first event.
Wow.
Amazing. Lots of positives about that. And then that was in the May 2017. And then in the September, I did a 1-day Newcastle Scaleup Summit, which is
Okay.
a bit like platform that you went to last week, but it was just a 1-day and then focus on scaling up.
Right.
With a great event for 175 people. And then I did another Newcastle Startup Week the following May. And it just carried on there. So I did 3 Newcastle Startup Week events.
Okay.
First 2 for 600 people, just over 600.
Wow.
The third one for just over 800 people.
Wow.
I started doing the Founders Friday events every month. Started doing consultancy for Newcastle City Council and the North of Tyne Combined Authority and various other things. And then COVID happened, and then I couldn't do events anymore.
Excellent. Yeah. So any plans to resume any of those apart from the platform events?
So when COVID happened, I couldn't do any in-person events, so I moved them online. I did 2 more Newcastle Startup Week events for 300 people each, which was great, even though it was online, but really good. Not as good as in person, and couldn't make any money from online because no sponsors wanted. Think back
Right.
COVID lockdown. No one, marketing budgets stopped. No one was spending money, but I didn't want to stop. I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. I started doing online coaching and mentoring, which I really, really enjoy doing, and I've continued doing that since.
Right.
And then, but I basically went back into employment. I got offered a job working in tech recruitment,
Okay.
which is not something I ever thought I would do.
Okay.
So I put my business, kept it going in the background, but didn't run any more events. So from the end of when was it? I'm trying to remember. End of 21. So 22, 23, 2022 and 2023, I spent 2 years doing tech recruitment
Okay.
for which I liked a lot. I didn't love, but I liked a lot.
Okay.
And actually it was exactly what I needed, because I needed a bit of stability. I needed some money. It was nice to be part of a team again. I learned some new things. It was a way I could still make use of my network, but in a different way, and I could help businesses grow. And I learned a lot, and I probably needed a bit more of a commercial edge, a bit more commercial experience, because I was running my business more like a not-for-profit up until that point,
Right.
which I wanted to do, but that meant I was vulnerable when COVID came along because I didn't have enough cash reserves, and I didn't want to be in that situation again. So 2 years of doing the tech recruitment, and then it was building back up inside me that I wanted to get back to what I was doing.
Right.
And I was getting more and more people asking me do you not fancy doing those events again? They were really good. And I was like, yeah, I do. So I left recruitment dead on 2 years, and January 2024, I just picked up where I left off and started doing the platform events again.
Yeah.
So I've done them pretty much every month since then. along with, I basically just picked up where I left off. And last June, I renamed it. Instead of Newcastle Startup Week, I renamed it UK Startup and Scale Up Week. And I did a 5-day multi-venue citywide event in Sunderland this time for 420 people.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's been busy. Done a lot of things, but UK Startup and Scale Up Week now is just, it's a purely online thing. I've decided to just keep that going, but as a purely online, weekly blogs, videos, podcasts. So like this will go out as a blog and a podcast and a video on a YouTube channel and podcast. But platform is the brand that has the more momentum. So we're going to keep focused on doing the platform events instead.
Right. Wow, your
That
journey.
was a long answer, sorry, but there was a lot in there.
It's exactly what I wanted. The journey, that's what I wanted to learn about, the journey. The COVID came, and COVID actually changed the course for everybody. I think it was not only, everything was like shut down. People studied from, doing work and studying, and everything took online, so sustaining was definitely not easy. So if you were to go back and define one of the key moments, what would that be? A key moment that pushed you in this direction.
Oh, I mean, well, obviously COVID was a big one, but like, so going back in, so I think, right, so my first job after university, so my university degree had nothing to do with this, right? So I did geography at university, at the University of Leeds, which I loved doing, right? But I just did it because that was my favorite subject. I had no idea what I wanted to do other than music. I really thought I was going to be a international superstar DJ, producer, club promoter. That's what I wanted to do, right? And I did DJ around the world and I had an amazing time, but I critically acclaimed, commercially not that successful, but had an amazing time, right? But yeah, when I was doing, so I was at university, and then my first job after university was working for Sage, big FTSE 100 software company in Newcastle.
Right.
But I was there for 2 years doing tech support, liked it a lot, learned a lot, really good company, really good training, good experience, good company to work for. And that was where I learned that I like fixing problems. I like helping people, because that's what it was. It was tech support. But I could see that I didn't just want to do that forever. I could see, yes, you could get promoted, but I was a bit limited what I could do in that company. So I started teaching myself basic web design in my spare time. And so I started doing basic web design, and then I got a job working for British Airways as a graduate trainee web developer.
Okay.
Really good great company in Newcastle, great experience. But I realized quite quickly I could do it, but I wasn't a very good developer. I was some people are just amazing, but I'm not. I wasn't a great developer, and so I moved more into website management and content creation. That was the beginning of the marketing experience, I suppose. And then another big tragedy happened in the 9/11 happened after almost a year of being there, and which was just obviously horrific what happened there. But basically, the airline industry just stopped. So basically, the mantra "cash is king." A lot of big businesses, what they do is they just get rid of staff because they were losing so much money. All the aircraft was grounded. That year, when I think about it, they made just a series of mistakes, but they didn't know that at the time, and that they decided there was no future in low-cost airline. Okay, so British Airways used to have a low-cost airline called Go, which was a bit like EasyJet or Ryanair.
Right.
And they decided, no, there's no future in low-cost airline. We're just going to go for premium travel and business class travel. Well, all of that stopped, right? They overspent and overborrowed money to buy a whole new fleet of aircraft. They repainted all the tail fins. I don't know if you know, but like British Airways, they have the like Union Jack tail fins, and they changed them to be flags around the world, and no one liked them apparently. So I had to repaint all of the tail fins again, the Union Jacks, because it like Concorde. Do you remember Concorde? Yeah. So Concorde stopped flying, but then they relaunched Concorde, and that crashed.
Oh,
So they couldn't. It was just that whole year. It was just so many mistakes. Anyway, 9/11 happened, horrific. But then I just realized this is the downside of being in a big corporate. You are just a tiny cog in a big machine, and you are very disposable. And I'd felt that when I was at Sage, even that I was just, no matter how hard I tried, I was just like very junior. Didn't feel particularly valued what I was doing, even though I felt I was doing a really good job for the customer. It wasn't necessarily recognized with my managers or whatever. And then British Airways, disposable. So I just thought, right, I'm never going to work for a corporate again. But at the time, I'd had my first record signed to a record label. And I decided, I decided then, right, I'm not even going to look for another job. I'm just going to spend the next 12 months just making music.
I need another interview only to listen to your music now.
It's all on SoundCloud if people want to find it. If they search for Lord Lancaster.
Okay. Lord Lancaster.
It's all on there. But yeah, I basically decided I'm not going to look for another job. I'm just going to commit to making music. And I had two very tolerant parents who allowed me to do that, and had an amazing year of just making music and DJing and traveling. And then I went back into work, but the nature of the work was much more. I spent a long time working in the not-for-profit social enterprise. Spent 9 years working in more community-focused third sector organizations that were all about helping others and trying to help people bring ideas to life and fulfill their potential. So yeah, that was a big shift.
So it looks like you always knew that your calling is community.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah,
because you spoke about the college, building the community, keeping people together. Music, again, I strongly believe music is one.
Music, yeah, it's so powerful for connecting people. It doesn't matter who you are and what age or where you're from. Yeah,
no language, no location, nothing. Music just connects. It doesn't matter whether it's in English or any other language. Music is music.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting looking back. I mean, I'm getting old. I say I'm getting old. I'm 40. I'm 49 now. Jyoti. So trying to remember how I used to think when I was a kid is. I think I always felt like I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to help others, and I've always been really proud of the northeast of England, and felt frustrated that the northeast wasn't as successful as it could be compared to other regions, and that there was certain things holding it back, and some of that is external forces, some of it is mindset of people from the region as well. And I wanted to do what I could to try and overcome that personally and helping others.
Right. No, I think I have been in Northeast only since September 24, and I myself feel the connection. There's something about it that calls you. That is definitely a connection to Northeast, and to see it successful, to see it grow, to see it happy. And you're talking about music, and your parents were very tolerant, is the word that you used. How about your kids? Tell me what Paul is like in personal life when he's not working on platform or any other events. Has any of your kids, inherited that musical gene?
Well, my son is just about to turn 17, and he's decided he wants to be in a band. So, I mean, he's really into music. Well, my sister is, my daughter is as well. So I've got a 16, almost 17-year-old son, Jake, and I've got a 13, almost 14-year-old son, daughter, Amber. They're both very into music. He's really, really into music and movies, and very similar to I was when I was his age.
Wow.
But both of them. Like I've always played lots of music, every type of music. I've always talked about music. I've always talked about art and culture and movies, and encouraged them to pursue those interests. And what's nice, definitely my son in particular, he's always educating me. He's always like introducing me to new music. Just like I'll say, "Oh, that song reminds me of this song," and we yeah, it's just like I like that he's shown me new things that get me interested and excited, and I'm showing him things as well. But classic, I'm not cool. I'm the dad, so I'm not cool at all.
My daughter is, 15, going to be 16, and she does exactly the same thing. She thinks mama's music choice is too old, so she'll come and introduce me to new music. Sometimes it is music, sometimes it's noise for me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But definitely music and movies is a way that me and my son in particular connect over that. And then my partner she's got two daughters. She's got a 14-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old daughter. And yeah, so there's four kids between us, and a cat and a dog. So it's a busy household.
So what does a typical day look like you when you're not working?
I used to be married, so I am divorced, right? So me and my ex-wife are good friends now, and we obviously not nice when you're divorced, but we've known each other since we were at school, and we were together for 13 years. And anyway, we split up 6 years ago, so just before COVID. And anyway, we've remained friends. So my kids live with her full time, but they used to stay with me every weekend. Now I have them with me every other weekend, but I see them every Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I live with my partner Katie and her two daughters, and I'm originally from Gateshead, but I now live in Sunderland. Yeah, but I don't know. So I work from home. Katie works from home. I'm out and about all the time. Busy mornings with the cat and the dog and the kids, getting them ready for school. Lots of backwards and forwards. But family's really important to me. Like it always has been really important to me. So that's something I'm really proud of, that we've got four amazing kids. And even though me and my ex-wife are not together anymore, the kids have always been the priority for both of us, and I'm really proud that we've managed to do that, because it's difficult. A lot of people aren't able to do that. They do fall out over the kids, and it's a problem. But yeah, no.
Well, I think it's good to know that priorities are right. At the end of the day, it's about kids. And I feel the new generation, given that my study itself involves young generation in startup organization, I have learned a lot about the Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, and Gen Betas are still gonna be there. So I definitely understand the challenges that they face as in the corporate or in the personal life. If you see the mental health, suddenly, in last one decade, it has picked up.
Yeah,
People
I
are
think
paying
it's
a lot
I
of
think
attention.
it's I think it's hard. Well, it is obviously hard, right? Because when I like to think well, my partner as well, but because I'm so well connected, right? And I know about a lot of things, and I've had lots of different roles, and I think I've got a really good understanding of the region and where the opportunities are, and where the growth opportunities are, that sort of stuff. And I've spent time in recruitment, and it's like sometimes you just want to like download everything you know into your kids' heads so that they know, but like they have to find out for themselves, and they don't like it. They obviously don't like it when me or Katie or my kid's mother tells them things, because they're like, well, what do you know, and you're not me. But like, yeah, that's something I've had to learn, that it's like they have to learn at their own pace, and you can give them information, but you got to be careful not to be seen to be dictating or lecturing to
No,
them.
you cannot control. That's true. I see a
Yeah,
comment from Uzo when we were talking about music. She's saying that Michael Jackson is changing that.
I don't yeah, I don't know what that's referring to, but
The Michael
yeah.
song. we were talking about the connecting the kids to the music, our music and their music that is different. So I think
Right.
that she is saying that Michael movie is changing that.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, because I know that's interesting. Because when I mean, I'm showing my age, but when I was a kid, he was the king of pop. He was everywhere, and amazing music. But obviously, he's had some challenges and some not nice things, allegations, or whether I don't know whether it's
Yeah,
about his personal life, but yeah, there's throughout history you have troubled artists who
and,
the output of the work is amazing, but as people they have real problems.
yeah, and Michael Jackson, what I hear is still going, has gone back to the top. Even after
Really.
from, yeah, it's gone go back to
Well,
the
for a long time, the radio stations wouldn't play his music, and he was just banned from. But yeah,
they have
over time.
in
Uh-huh.
the movie they have covered that the 1983 Motown's episode. They have showed that in the movie. I took my daughter just to for her to know.
Yeah,
You know.
cool. Yeah.
So coming back to the community part, what are the what goes in the background? In the front, when I feel Paul has built lovely community. But there's a lot of hard work and challenges that you would have faced, or you are still continuing to face that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So talking about it a little bit before, and because I set out to create a business where I wasn't relying on grants and funding,
yeah, yeah,
right? Because I don't want to be in that position where the funding stops and you can't do what you set out to do. And often the really valuable stuff is intangible, and it's also hard to get someone to pay for, right? So I definitely feel a bit like not not Robin Hood, but like often sometimes feel like you have to take money from bigger businesses to support the grassroots smaller businesses, right?
yeah,
So definitely figured out a way where I create opportunities that everybody can benefit, right? So people who have no money or they're just starting their own business can benefit from the events and the knowledge and the insights that's on offer for free, right? But the businesses that we have sponsors who pay for our events, and we are very selective with who we work with. We don't just take money from anybody. The people that we work with, we do genuinely think that they are good supporters of small businesses and have good products and services that can help people start and grow.
yeah,
So they're also they get what we're all about, so they don't interfere. Obviously they
yeah,
want what they're sponsoring for is they want to raise their profile, they want the opportunity to speak, they want the visibility, they want their logos, they want their banners, they want the opportunities potentially get some new customers or clients, but it's very soft touch, it's very
yeah,
light touch, which is great. Now the challenge with that is it's still not easy making money that way, because like everybody, like no matter how good your events or how good your how many people you come to the events, there's always somebody who's saying, well, what's the return on investment? And especially if you have new people coming in who
hmm,
look at the budget and say, oh, we're changing things and we need to make more money out of it. So finding good sponsors, keeping good sponsors, making sure that they're happy, but at the same time not spoiling what we've
right,
got.
right,
Also, you know, trying to get people who come to the events to make the most of the events. Like obviously come to the events, constantly having to promote and remind people and encourage people, and then ideally you want people to make the next step. Ideally you want people to come to the event and learn something.
yeah,
You want someone to connect with someone. You want someone to find a collaborator, a partner, a client, a customer, or get some benefit from it, right? But I can't control that.
right,
I'm just setting the scene. I'm creating the opportunities for people. But then I would say everybody who comes to the platform events does need a bit more.
yeah,
Now, there's only so many hours in the day, so this is a constant challenge for me. Is like I would like to help everybody, but I can't help everybody,
No.
and I can't do it for free all the time. I
Yes.
do a lot for free, and I do have free meetings and calls and to a point, but then beyond that, people are going to have to pay something to somebody, whether it's me or someone else, and that's just business. I think there's people need to get into the habit of being buyers as well as
Right.
taking.
Right.
And I mean that in the nicest possible way. But I think the Northeast, and I can say this because I've lived here my whole life, I think the Northeast is still too reliant on grants and funding, and still too expectant of getting things for free. And it used to be, I'm really into history and I'm really into economics. It used to be the UK or Britain used to be called like a nation of shopkeepers, but I think we need to become a nation of buyers as well. We need to actually buy off each other.
Yeah.
And not expect the council or the government to give everything. We need to.
Makes sense. Yeah. So,
So
do you think that is what people get wrong about networking? Because when they come to the networking, their expectations are different, or they always meet the expectations?
I think most people who come to our events sort of get what the event's all about, and we do. I haven't seen any real examples of this, or not many I can think of, where I've been to events in the past where someone will come in and they've got an objective that they're going to make a sale, and they just go around the room and they're just pushing and trying to sell to everybody they talk to. They're putting business cards in everyone's hands. They're like trying to sell. Oh, you're not going to buy. Okay, are you going to buy?
Okay.
So they're just, sometimes that is desperation. Sometimes they might have a boss on their back saying they've got to hit targets or whatever. So I understand why that might be happening, right? But where this isn't just our events, this is just networking in general. If people are just pushing their products or services on other people, that's the wrong approach. And the best salespeople listen more than they talk.
Absolutely.
So they show an interest, they ask questions, they find out about the other people, and then if there's an opportunity to sell, or you've got a product or service that can help that person out, then you can tell them. But if you can't, then you can still be of value, and you can still build a relationship by introducing them to someone else or pointing them in another direction, and they will remember that, and they're more likely to refer someone to you if you've helped them than if you've just tried to sell to them as soon as you meet them.
Exactly. The building connection doesn't happen instantly. I think there's a foundation that you build upon before you actually encash it. It's not like one day I give you the card and it will work and I get the business. It's a process.
Yeah, exactly. And it might take 2, 3 more
Meetings.
events before you. But you found it as well. That you go to events, or you went to the event yesterday. People recognize you. They've spoken to you, and then they're more willing to talk to you the next time. And then when the time is right.
Absolutely, I have seen that. Like from my first event to platform, and now when I go to other events, I see similar faces. So and then when we see similar faces, we go and talk. We connect. How is it going? And it just the networking happens, and then people are more helpful that, oh, Jyoti, I know somebody who is working in startup, I'll connect you,
Exactly.
So it's snowball. It's a snowball effect.
Yeah, it's I mean, business is human. I know obviously more and more they're using technology and AI, but you can't get rid of the human touch, and there is an energy to it, like you can pick up energy from people. Everything's energy, I think. And building a rapport, building a relationship, you're much more likely to want to work with someone if you actually like them, and if you've got some sort of, if you're comfortable around them, then if they're like,
and that connection is not only for that purpose. The people with whom I'm meeting, that's not only for my research anymore. That is like, we will be in touch. If something new comes, we talk with each other, we chat with each other, we help each other. So it's not only for one reason. Also, it is just that you're growing your network, you're expanding it. So this talk will not be complete unless I talk about your award that you got during the conference.
Oh yeah, I've got it here actually. It's on my desk. for sure. Hey.
Oh, it's beautiful. I know I was present there and it was awarded to you. And, it is recognized by High Sheriff Award for Meritorious Community Service, right?
Yeah, so it's no, it was a lovely, lovely thing to happen because
Were you
so
expecting it or was
uh
it a surprise?
no, well, so Amar Mirza,
Mhm.
so who's got a CBE, right, so he's a commander of the British Empire, right? So great guy. I've known him for about 10 years. So when I first started my business, or maybe just before, that's when I first met Amar. So I
Mhm.
think that's important for people to know that, like, Amar, who gave
Mhm.
me that award, I've known him for 10 years. Neil Stevenson, my business partner, I've known him for about 10 years. A lot
Wow.
of the people I work with now, I've known for many years. I've built up relationships over a long time. And it's only more recently that we've actually started working together. So good relationships are worth investing the time, and it's not like you do it because you want necessarily something in a financial benefit, but you do because there's some connection there, and you some kindred spirit or some sort of rapport that you've got, and further down the line something might come of it. But Amar, I invited Amar to the event. I wanted him at the event, and then he said, "Oh, I'd love to come, but can I also give you an award?" And I was like, "Well,
Wow.
what for?" And I didn't really know what it was going to
Okay.
be. I just knew he was going to be there, and he was going to get up and say something. Um, but I was really quite humbled and quite touched by it because he's the High Sheriff of Tyne and Wear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old. I think it's like thousands of years old. Once it's a ceremonial thing, but once upon a time they were like you had the king, and then you had the high sheriffs who were responsible for law and enforcement and collecting taxes, and they had a lot of power and influence. And they've continued the tradition, but these high sheriffs now they present awards. They you appoint a high sheriff for a year. So
Mhm.
Amar's just become the high sheriff for the next 12 months. And they can present awards to people who they think have contributed a lot to the local community.
Wow.
And that can be for charitable work, it can be community work, or in this case it's for supporting the business community. Um, so yeah, it was a lovely, and that was his first award that he's handed out. So that was just a very. I was a little bit lost for words, which is unusual for me.
No, it was great because we all were there and we saw it, your expressions. And, I think everybody in the conference was, excited,
Yeah,
and sharing, that moment with you. It was
yeah.
lovely for me as well.
It was a lovely. Well, my sister was there as
Oh, okay.
well, and my partner Katie was there as well. So it was so lovely to have them there as well to see it. I was very very proud, and
Yeah. And remember, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked you during after the conference. I said that if Paul of 2026 had to give any advice to Paul 2016, what would that be?
oh, that's a good one, isn't it? So 10 years ago,
Yeah.
um, I don't know, probably just stick at it. Like you're on the right track, and like believe in, like keep doing what you're doing. It's important and it's valuable what you're doing, and you're gonna help a lot of people, and you're gonna enjoy it along the way as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I really believe like the importance of picking yourself. So that's definitely what I did 10 years ago. I was like, nobody asked me to do what I'm doing. I just thought there's a need for
Yeah.
this. And I was looking around thinking, well, no one else is going to do this. So, and I feel like I'm in the position to do it, and I have the knowledge and the insights and the passion to do it.
Yeah.
So why not me?
Love.
And just believing in myself to do it. And I genuinely believe that once, if it's humanly possible, you can do anything, right? If you really believe in it,
True.
and you back yourself, you can make it happen. And,
So
and there's something, I talked about energy before. There's definitely something about that when you're really believing what you're doing. People are drawn to that. Like
yeah. Yeah.
people are drawn to that energy and that passion and that belief that you've got. People want to be part of it.
Yes.
So yeah,
So yeah,
that's
so
my advice.
your recommendation is believe in yourself and go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but and it's not, it's not going to be plain sailing. There's going to be problems along the way, but it's, I think it's an overused word often, but purpose, it definitely will keep you going through anything. If you really, really believe in what you're doing, and you often use this quote. Have you heard what's it called? Have you read the book The Alchemist?
Yes, long
by
back.
Paulo Coelho?
Powerful, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great book. But there's a line in that where he says something like caravans in the desert, we make a lot of detours, but we're still heading in the same direction.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it's like, yeah, things will come along, but you'll get there eventually. And
and your intent matters a lot.
uh-huh.
Yeah, lovely. And I don't know how much time you have. Yeah, we still have maybe 3 or 4 minutes left.
Few minutes, yeah. But yeah, I've got through a lot of questions, but I don't have any more.
I had a list of a lot of questions, but I have two questions, but I'll choose one. What would be your advice to the young founders and entrepreneurs, coming in, given that you have so much of expertise and knowledge that you have built up over the years, and the new people who are coming in? Uh, what are the things that you would ask them to be careful about or to consider, like advice?
Right, yeah, good. I'm bound to say this, and I am going to talk about the benefit of community in your network, right? Because I think not just young founders, old business owners, as leaders as well, I come across a lot of people who've been so focused on what they're doing that they haven't spent any time or not enough time nurturing relationships and networks. And if that business fails, or they lose their job or whatever, they have no network. They're vulnerable, and they find it difficult to move into another direction. I've found it relatively easy or easier to move directions and to pivot into different roles because I've got that network,
Right.
and I've built up that trust and that goodwill, I suppose, because I have helped a lot of people, and I've supported a lot of people, and I've given back, and I've contributed, and it's just meant that I've been able to have a very interesting career, and I've been able to move into lots of different roles. But that network's followed me everywhere.
Yep.
And there's actually another good book by Reid Hoffman called is it the Network of You or something? I think it's called The Network of You. But it's basically how doesn't matter what job you do or what business you work for, the network will follow you. So
It's
the value of having that network around you.
about the people aspect, right? You do not, you always make that connection with the people, the human connection. No
Yeah.
matter, I would have, if we had time, we would have discussed more about the AI and how does it impact the networking and the community, because definitely AI is coming into picture, but I strongly believe still human connection is very important.
Yeah, no, I'm not against AI at all. Like, I do use some AI tools, and we'll probably we're looking at how we can use AI more to create more of a AI powered connection
Yeah.
tools or software to supplement what happens at the events, because that is a constant frustration for me, that I can't do more, or that I can't, like, I'm very good when I'm in front of people and I'm like, okay, Jyoti, you need to speak to this person. Like, Jyoti, you need to speak to Chris.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
why you should speak. Right. I'm good at that, right? But I can't do that with everyone. And I can't do it at scale. So that if there's a way that we can do a better job of matching people up and pointing people to exactly what they need when they need it,
Right.
because it's all there.
Yeah.
It's just people.
Create a repository.
That's what I'd like to do over the coming months. But definitely, I think this is something tech founders in particular are guilty of, is believing that the technology will just sell itself, or that it's just so amazing that you can just run your whole life using technology. But life is better with people in it, and with connections, and you'll have more fun, you'll enjoy it more, and it'll be more valuable to the
Ab-
world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Paul, for sharing your experience. I know 1 hour is not enough to cover everything that you have done in last 10 or 12 years. Maybe we'll have part two sometime, but really thank you for doing this.
Oh, thank you. No, I enjoyed doing that, and I do really appreciate you coming to the events and all the feedback that you give, because you're always very encouraging, and you get it. You get what it's all about, and I think you hopefully
Yeah,
get it even more now after having that conversation.
as I said, I have been in the industry for a very long time, and I always, as a manager and as a head and all, I have always felt that people are your true assets. Invest in people.
Yeah,
Everything else goes.
yeah, no, definitely. Do you
No.
want to? We'll put some links underneath here. But is there something? Do you want to say a little bit about what you're working on at the moment? And
Yeah, sure. So I am a doctoral student. I am doing a DBA, and my research topic is about young generations in startup organizations. I'm just trying to understand that is there any changes in the management practice that is needed to accommodate or welcome this new generation, because this new generation is different than what we were, and that's how it is going to be. And Gen Z soon is going to be like more than 30 or 40% of the workforce across. So that is my topic. And if you know anybody, or if you are a startup who want to join my study, please drop me a message. And I also work with Resolve Group as a organizational advisor. They are based in Hartlepool, and we actually build new apps, or we fix your apps in case if your app is broken and you don't know what to do. We can fix that as well.
amazing, no, amazing. No, well, definitely, it's a big topic, because I mean,
Yeah, it's
there's a lot of not just Gen
Gen,
Z. Is that,
Gen Z,
yeah.
Gen Z, 1997 to 2012.
Yeah, oh, that makes me feel old. But actually, I was just listening to a little podcast. It's a good podcast called "The Rest Is Politics," which I
Okay.
listened to, which is good about like global
Hmm.
politics and UK politics, with Rory Stewart and Alistair Campbell, who are opposite sides of the political spectrum, but like sort of centrists. One is like Conservative, one is Labour. But that's a really good. The Rest Is Politics, but they've got a little mini series that they've just done, which is all about Gen
Oh,
Z.
lovely. I'll check it out. I'll check.
And I was listening to a bit the other day, and it was very interesting about the challenges of
Yes.
whether you go to university or not. You know, the costs of that, and whether the cost has gone up, but arguably the value of a degree
Yeah.
has gone down, and all these issues and stuff that
Yeah.
people are having to contend with. But I
People
think you
want
can,
people want to hire the new people with experience, but the people who are coming out of the college, they are not able to find the job because there is no experience. So
yeah,
it's like a chicken and egg problem.
yeah, and I think employers definitely should be more willing to take people on with no experience and train them up.
Correct. So
And
if onboarding, I always feel that onboarding is one of the key areas in the organization. Having a clear onboarding plan, having a person moving from one role to another, succession planning, all those small things, which if you pay proper attention, it does wonders to the organization.
yeah, and there's definitely not enough managers and leaders spend time on their own training and education to become a better manager or leader.
Unfortunately, yes,
Uh,
unfortunately, yeah.
yeah,
But it will have an impact any day. If you are having a person who is not ready for that role, if you put that person in that role, you will sooner or later realize that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good. Okay, well, yeah.
you so
It
much,
sounds
Paul.
it sounds really interesting what you're doing. Yeah. So if there's people who in watching this or listening to this who can want to contribute, yeah, get in touch with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Okay.
much. And let's do it again. And I'll meet you in the next platform event.
Amazing. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thanks, Jyoti. Bye.
Bye. Bye.